All right, good morning everyone. Good afternoon for those of you in New Zealand. Thank you once again for joining us today. We will start our webinar now. Basically, just to give you a brief background, September is the month on CRM. That's our topic for the month. So you will hear a lot about webinars and content and learning materials on the topic of CRM, because we understand that that's one of the things that a lot of people are still interested in knowing more about. So that's why we're presenting you the webinar today on Microsoft Dynamics. Microsoft Dynamics CRM is a donation software donated by Microsoft through Donatech and TechSoup New Zealand. So it is available for those of you who are eligible if you would like to know more about it. And today's webinar is about we'll go through the overview and the features of the product itself, and Peter Daikema from Organon Consulting will be leading you through it. If you have any questions at all about the product or CRM related things, please type them in the question box. We won't be taking live questions through the mic, just to make sure that all the whole process goes smoother. So I will be moderating the questions, and type it in as they come along to you. We will address them all towards the end of the webinar though, but feel free to ask them when it pops up. Other than that, we will start off with a poll. We'd just like to know a few things about where your role and also where your organization is at with CRM. So, sorry, I haven't introduced myself. My name is Christine, and I'm the Events and Membership Coordinator at Connecting Up. For those of you who have joined a few of our webinars, you probably know me quite well by now. All right, so we'll start with our first poll. What is your primary role in your organization? So if you can just please click the one that's relevant to you, and we'll do the second poll after this. And we're just getting a few answers right now. Just getting a few more coming in. Alright, I'll close the poll and I'll just share the results with you. So the majority of you work in the technology role, and second up is executive management. So that's great, and I think it gives Peter as the facilitator a better idea on who he's talking to. Now, if we can go to the next poll, whether your organization is using a CRM system. So again, if you can just put in your answer now. This will help us know where you're at in terms of your understanding and what you need, and hopefully that this webinar will be able to address your concerns. Alright, so we've got most of the answers, and so the majority of you don't currently have a CRM system and is just looking to implement a CRM. So I think this is a really good start to give you an understanding of CRM and how it can help you. And some of you already have but would like to replace or looking to improve from the current system. So that's great. I will now pass on to Peter, who will lead us with the webinar today. Peter, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you very much, Christine. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending the webinar today. It's great to see that you've turned up in such big numbers. I know it's always taking some time out of your day that you can use to engage with your constituents, but hopefully today will help you to get that time back in a multiple way. So what I want to do today is run through a couple of things. Like I've seen in the poll, there are some people from IT, some executive management, and then there are people that are looking to implement a CRM system and other ones that like to replace a CRM system. And I think that most of the topics today will cover quite a bit of that. I will be today talk about what is CRM, how can not-for-profit organizations benefit from CRM systems, and what is involved in selecting and implementing a CRM system. And after that, I will show you briefly, give you a brief overview of Microsoft Dynamics CRM for not-for-profit, and share a success story with you with a company I've worked with in the past that implemented Microsoft Dynamics CRM. And then we've got quite some time for questions because most of the time when these topics come up, there are a lot of questions, and we want to make sure that we can answer most of them. If there are any questions left that are unanswered, we'll get back to you and send an answer to that in an email later on. And then we'll wrap up at the end. So we've got about 50 minutes to get through all of this. So I'd like to get started straight away.
Peter, sorry.
So if I go to yes.
It's just a few people saying that the audio is a bit echoey, so a bit distorted. It sounds fine with me, but so if you just,
Yeah, I will try to put the microphone a little bit differently. Okay. So to start off with, what is CRM? Now the definition of CRM for not-for-profits varies significantly. There are some people that would see it as a contact database, otherwise would see it as a donor database, others see it as a database and the management of related processes. And if you go a little bit further, you can see it more as a focused approach on delivering constituent service. And then there are other ones who see it as a more proactive strategy to engage with constituents. So there are a lot of different ways to see it, but what we have done is try to put it together in a CRM maturity model, and it's not all our own. We haven't come up with all of this ourselves, but it's from experience in the past. So first of all, there's if you look at the different phases, you've got the first phase, which is basically where everybody starts off with CRM as a Rolodex. It's just a contact database. Then you go to the next phase, with CRM as a system. Then you get to CRM as a service and CRM as a strategy. So I will go through these 4 phases, and so you get an idea of where you might fit into this maturity model, and what you might want to work towards to use CRM more as a strategy, where you basically automate all the process and actually look at how you can serve your constituents better. Okay, so go to it. So first of all, we'll go through CRM as a Rolodex. So in most of the cases, people have a lot of contact details of donors, fundraising prospects. But the problem often is that they are held in Outlook, spreadsheets, access to databases. So it's all decentralized, and it's very time-consuming to put lists together for campaigns. So if you want to run a marketing campaign, then everybody has to bring their own list. They all are put together. All the contacts are deduplicated, and then the marketing list is used for this marketing campaign, which could be all right. It's often time-consuming, but then when next time there's a similar campaign and you want to use a similar list, you have to go through the whole process again. So if somebody changes their contact details in Outlook, then or in the spreadsheet, then basically you have to almost redo the whole list. So it's almost impossible to measure effectiveness of initiatives, and most of the times it only includes donors and fundraising prospects. So if you go to the next phase, which is the CRM as a system, Generally, people have a CRM system in place. Some of the business processes might be automated, but there's often a disproportionate focus of resources on keeping the existing systems going. Because they often legacy systems that might have worked really good in the past, but they don't integrate well with other systems. It's often hard to change reports or add additional reports, and if it can be done, then often there's an IT person involved or required for it, or even worse, you have to get a consultancy organization in to write new reports for you, which is costly, and generally it costs a lot of time as well. This all means that there's less time available for engaging with constituents, and in this phase, generally people only put donors and fundraising prospects in the system. So if we go to the next phase, which is CRM as a service, not to confuse with software as a service, but basically in this phase, there's a CRM system in place, like in the other phase, but the focus is really here on serving constituents and providing superior service experiences to them. And most of the interactions are really reactive, so most of the business processes are automated. But in this case, the constituents don't only include donors and fundraising prospects, but also advocates, volunteers, partners, event participants, and beneficiaries. So the key question for organizations in this phase is often what will best enhance the experience of the constituents and how who we communicate with. So the CRM system that they are using is really focused on that question and making sure that they can communicate better with the constituents. So then if I go to the next one, which is the last phase of the CRM maturity model, then we get to CRM as a strategy. Here as well, they're focusing on serving constituents and providing superior service experience, but they are really proactive. They use their CRM system to proactively engage with their constituents. Most of the business processes are automated, and again, the constituents include donors, fundraising prospects, advocates, volunteers, partners, event participants, and beneficiaries. These organizations often also engage with their constituents via social media and make sure that they integrate with their other systems. They continuously evaluate the best way to enhance the experience of the constituents across the organization boundaries. So they don't only look at some of the internal processes, but they really ask for feedback from their constituents of how they want to work with them. So that's something I will touch on later on during the presentation as well. Okay.
Peter, if you can just speak up a little bit.
Really look at,
a few people are still struggling to hear you.
Okay, yeah, I will do that. Then the definition of CRM, that as basically the goal of a not-for-profit's CRM strategy is to find, attract, and win new constituents, nurture and retain those the organization already has, and entice former constituents to get back to them, reduce costs, and increase efficiencies and effectiveness of communications and provide service to these constituents. It also entails the technology, the best practices, business practices, and customer service to support and enhance the constituents' experience, which in turn supports the mission of the organization. It is really the core of the whole existence of the CRM system, obviously, because the reason why you would want to use a CRM system is to support the mission of the organization. So if I get to the current challenges of organizations, so generally organizations, when they are looking to replace their CRM system, they are really looking to move away from something, from issues that they've got at the moment, things they can't do, or they want to move towards something which are future opportunities, things that they would like to be able to do, and opportunities they see for the future. Firstly, I will touch on the challenges that people might have. So like I said, there are often silos. They often have many systems that are point solutions that are developed to fill gaps that are not met by other systems in the organization. The lack of flexibility to adapt to contemporary needs, such as integration with other systems, online communication, the internet and social media. So often it means that there's not enough functionality available in the one system, so they have multiple systems around. But the problem often is that then you've got data of constituents sitting in different systems that don't communicate with each other. So then when I get to constituent service, because of these disparate systems, it's often a problem that not-for-profits can't meet their constituent service goals in a timely, accurate manner. They can't provide them accurate information, and that really undermines the mission of the organization generally. Segmentation, so it often can be difficult or even impossible to honor constituents' communication preferences regarding the type of information they would like to receive or the frequency of communication and the communication channels that they would like to prefer, like email, phone, direct mail or snail mail. So there might be different ways that I would like to communicate with, but if you can't track that in the system, then obviously you are not going to be able to honor their preferences. Then if I go to stewardship, so for the high-touch relationships, organizations have limited ability to track important information over time, and they can't provide a full picture of the relationship with key constituents. So the issue compounds when you have staff turnover, because transferring the relationship to someone new might reveal holes in the information and can cause the relationship to falter, and people might seek another course that they want to support because they don't get the feeling that you value their relationship enough. Then when I get to support, so for some meeting even their baseline needs requires a tremendous amount of internal efforts to support the system. Some have devoted substantial staff resources to developing and supporting in-house systems, and they've always become de facto software developers. So when these people that support the system leave the organization, or even if the in-house systems don't meet the needs of the organization, then the ongoing cost of the organization increase dramatically. So often it's important to have a flexible system in place that is well supported across the board. So then if people want to move towards something, they see opportunities that they can leverage from in the future. Then for some it's a matter of expanding what always has worked for them, but it could also be that because of the changing environment, they might have to change their mission, their constituents might change, and they need to do something about that. So it's often easier said than done because, in fact, moving towards CRM often prompts organizations to ask fundamental questions like, who are the key stakeholders that our mission is serving? How do we best relate to them? How do we measure our success? And what information and business processes and engagement practices will drive our success? So if you can't answer those questions, I would suggest that you wouldn't start implementing a CRM system, but you would answer those questions first and then move towards it. Because if you don't answer those questions beforehand, you will probably implement a suboptimal system because you don't address all your requirements from the start. Then with the constituent service, here CRM is used to support timely, accurate, and transparent constituent service. Transparency means lowering barriers between the not-for-profit and the constituents to engage more closely, promote affinity for the organization. So in a high-touch relationship, it includes knowing your constituents well enough to provide highly personalized experiences. For the broader audience, it means providing options for constituents to engage with the not-for-profit, including how, when, and why the not-for-profit engages with them. Achieving strategic alignment and constituent service goals requires substantial data and sophisticated processes. So CRM has to support these requirements without overwhelming the not-for-profit, because it's easy to be overwhelmed by a new system. So it has to be simple. The processes don't to be complicated. So this is particularly important when an organization considers the future. A lot of leading not-for-profits know that capitalizing on opportunities can't require the struggle that they experience today. This has prompted some organizations to think about their CRM technology decision as less as selecting a single software solution, but more about choosing a platform that will that they can build upon and which will meet their needs in the future. So other organizations want to stay current, or the opportunity they see is to even stay ahead of the pack. And they've started down the track of CRM already, and they've expressed to their willingness to experiment with different technologies to be more forward behaving to their constituents. And also because they see that other not-for-profits might be doing similar things, so they want to stay competitive. So they are at the forefront of that, and for the most part they find value in there, with the risk of occasionally stumbles, but they are generally outweighed by the benefits that they get out of the CRM system. Okay, then, so if I go to the lessons learned from implementations with not-for-profits in the past, and some of them apply to every organization that implements a CRM system. One of the big things is that you shouldn't underestimate cultural change. Cultural change is really important. People generally don't like change. If they need to change, they have to see the benefits of it. So you have to communicate that very well, what the benefits are of the new system. Why are you doing it? Why are you implementing this particular system? What are the stakeholders getting out of it? So make sure you secure executive buy-in from the start. Without executive support, the system is almost sure to fail. Often what happens is that, that there's staff turnover, and if one of your CRM champions leaves and nobody picks it up, then obviously the system is not going to perform the way you had envisaged. So another thing is take the time for strategic planning. Make sure you know what you want to achieve out of the system, who's going to use it, who the stakeholders are, and what business processes it's going to cover. So when you've answered those questions, communicate them organization-wide so that everybody knows what is going to happen, and keep people up to date during the project as well. So some of these things I've already mentioned. So selection and implementation tips that are important for people that are implementing the system. Take the time for discovery. Don't let nice to haves dictate your choice. So often what people see is they see and they get a number of demonstrations of systems, and some say, oh, this looks nice, that looks nice, and they get distracted by the bells and whistles of a solution. Make sure that the core is covered first, and then the nice to haves are a bonus. But make sure you've got the core processes covered first. Consider your timing, so make sure that you know what the timing of your project is and stick to it. And if you have an overrun, communicate that throughout the organization as well, that it might take another week or a month to go live with the system, because if people don't know, they assume it's a failure from the start. Then an important point as well that I think it's overlooked often is choose a partner that fits to implement the system that fits your culture. So you often have to work extensively with a consultancy firm that helps you implement the system, and make sure that the people in that firm actually match the culture that you are promoting internally. Because if you've got a culture clash, then often that will reflect on the successfulness of the project. One thing I would also suggest is to take a phased approach. So start with your core processes first, and then expand to other processes later on. Because if you take it in bite-sized chunks, then it's a lot easier to stay on track. And it depends a little bit on what type of organization you are. In some cases, big bang implementations work, but in my experience, the phased approach generally works better. Then, like I've said before, collaborate and communicate. Make sure that people know what's happening, seek their inputs, communicate the progress of the project. And when you communicate, don't focus on the cost cutting, because people generally associate cost cutting with losing their jobs. But focus on serving your constituents better. And another point that that is really important is get your data right before you go live, before you upload the data in the new system. Make sure you've got clean data in the system, because if people start using the system with dirty data in it, they lose faith in the system straight away. From a user adoption perspective, a comprehensive training plan is very important as well, because if you train your staff right and correctly, then the user adoption will be a lot better. The learning curve will be a lot smoother than if you don't train them properly. So implementation is key. Make sure that you go through all these steps and tick this off before you embark on the process. So I've mentioned a couple of these communication tips as well, already. So clearly identify your current challenges and opportunities. Make sure that the benefits are clear to everybody to everybody in the organization, but also to the executives, because the executives will need to support the project, and if they don't support it, a lot of people in the organization won't support the change either. So make sure that the executives can articulate why what the reason for the change is and why you are implementing a new system. So the biggest challenge for most not-for-profit organizations is really fragmented data, processes, and people, and strategy that lead to fragmented relationships with constituents. So when you've got different data sitting in the organization in silos, then one department might be running a marketing campaign around one subject, another one might be running another marketing campaign, and it might be targeting the same constituents. So if you, within a space of one day, send them a mailing out, then they might get confused. They want one message. They want they don't want to receive an email 2 days in a row and then nothing for a month. So if you have a consolidated system, you can coordinate it a lot better. So with that, I would like to move into the demonstration of or a presentation of Dynamics CRM and show you how how a CRM system can make these challenges that that you have a lot easier, overcome those challenges, and make it easier to capitalize on the opportunities that that you see ahead. So Microsoft Microsoft generally is more known for a generic CRM system, but what Microsoft CRM has out of the box is a very flexible and customizable system. It provides dashboards and relationship management capabilities. However, for not-for-profits often have unique needs that are generally not covered by out-of-the-box solutions. So, for this reason, Microsoft Dynamics CRM has come up with a solution that is tailored towards not-for-profit organizations, and it makes it a lot easier to effectively track donations, pledges, volunteer hours against cost. You can improve interactions with donors and volunteers and other constituents. You can increase donations and memberships with a more detailed view of the past and present communication, so you can better leverage those relationships. So Microsoft Dynamics CRM, you can get it in 3 different forms. So most CRM systems either come in 1 or 2 different forms. Traditionally, you would have an on-premise system, which may be required due to privacy or security restrictions, and you might want to run the server in your own office. This is it's pretty easy to install, pretty easy to manage, but you still need some IT resources to manage that. So for that reason, some organizations might want to look at an online CRM system, software as a service, which is called Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online. You pay a monthly user fee per user, and Microsoft hosts the solution in the data centers across the world. So Microsoft is hosting Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online in Singapore, in the US, and in Europe. You can access CRM then in a number of ways: through the web, through an Outlook client, or through a mobile device. Microsoft will take care of all the server maintenance, the patching, all the the overheads that are generally associated to maintaining a server. But in a few cases, there might be cases where CRM Online doesn't meet everybody's needs, and some organizations want their data to be residing in a data center in Australia. So for those organizations, we would recommend the partner-hosted model, where CRM Online or CRM is hosted in a third-party data center in Australia, rather than in Microsoft Data Center. So you still get the same functionality in all these three different flavors, in a sense, but it's just a matter of where the data is sitting and who is maintaining the server. So if I go to some of the functionality, I just want to discuss some of the functionality of the Dynamics CRM in the not-for-profit industry. So the not-for-profit solution for Dynamics CRM 2011 contains a couple of these areas. So relationship management, it has grant management, donor pledge management, membership management, campaign and event management, and volunteer management. And there are a couple of other things that it caters for as well. What we do as Organon Consulting, we offer planning and implementation support to implement Dynamics CRM. So what I will do now is I will go into a little presentation on or demonstration of Dynamics CRM. For this particular demonstration, I'm using screenshots because it will make it a little bit easier to go through the system. If at some stage I'm not covering every single area that you would like to see, then I'm happy to organize a more in-depth demonstration, because we only have probably 10 minutes left to actually go through this, so I don't want to rush through it too much. So for, the not-for-profit solution of Microsoft Dynamics CRM offers you a great way to capture data, but more importantly, it's about how you can actually use that data. So some organizations want to capture their data have traditionally captured data in spreadsheets or in the donor management system. Data like first name, last name, gender, marital status, amount of donation, date of donation, campaign that it was given under. All that information can be captured in the system as well. But then what's probably more important is that you can actually analyze the data and act upon it. So there are ways to do that in Dynamics CRM. So the unique thing is that it provides you dashboards, which some other systems do as well, but it makes it really easy to change the dashboards and tailor them to your needs. So if I just go to the next slide, which is relationship management, then you will see here in relationship management, this is a typical screen that would be used in Dynamics CRM. So the most important part of a CRM system is relationship management, and relationships can be with organizations or with individuals. So this one is with an organization or with a household. This one is with an constituent, so an individual. You can track activities, connections to other individuals or organizations, donation, pledges. All those things are linked to the different organizations or contacts in the system. So then when I get to donations and pledges, what you can do with donation and pledge management is when we're talking about donation and pledges, there's one thing that I would like to notice is that if there are any very specific questions, just ask them at the end, and we'll get back to that later on. So in talking about donation pledges, I would like to talk a little bit more about how you track them in relationship to a pledge or a promise to pay. You might be able to track some kind of indicator that you track internally to make that makes sense to you. So you might want to know how much a particular household or individual has donated in the past, and what the details of those donations. So in this case, we're looking at a donation of Sean Michael, and there are in this case 2 donations. So you can donate in either cash, in kind with volunteer hours, goods and services. So there are different ways to donate, and you can track all that in the system as well. Okay. Just click to the next screen. So here you can see a pledge that has been made. So obviously the difference between a pledge and a donation is that a donation is a one-off donation, where a pledge can encompass multiple donations. And the system is smart enough to say if you have a pledge of $10,000 and you want to donate it in 10 separate 10 separate times, then the system will calculate it for you, and you can actually set a start and an end date for that as well. You can indicate if it is a monthly, quarterly, annually donation. So the system can handle it all for you. Okay. So then if we come to grants management, so when I'm talking about grants here, I'm talking about incoming grants that you might want to track activities with, and documents. You might need to send the grantor a grant report at the end of the financial year to let them know what has been done with it. So you can track that against the grant in the system. So you can attach documents, you can attach tasks or phone calls, meetings, and all these things are you can track in the system. Okay, then like I said, you can track the tasks here as well. So then when I get to campaign and event management, you might want to manage campaigns, marketing campaigns or events. So the system caters for that as well. In this case, we want to set up an event, the 2012 Gala event. Then if I go in the next screen, you can see here that you can create campaign activities against that. You can attach budgets to it, and you can assign the actual cost of it as well. So you can track all the different planning steps in for a campaign or an event, and attach the different cost projected and actual cost to it as well, so that you can create reports later on when you want to run the event at the later stage as well. You know what you're on for and what you have to look out for. Okay, so then like I said, with Dynamics CRM, you've got quite a few reports that you can pull out of it. You can create them yourself, or you can use the standard reports. In this case, you can see the campaign mix report, and it will just show you what type of campaigns you've run during the year. So then one thing that often isn't covered by a CRM system is volunteer management. Because basically volunteers are a critical part of your organization as well, obviously, and they donate time, and you can track that time that they donate to you as well. So you can say, no, this particular volunteer, Sean Michael, has helped with the gala. She has put in 25 hours here, You can track the lifetime volunteer hours as well. Then if you're running a next scale event, you might want to use Sean Michael again, because she has skills in a particular area, in event coordinating, and you might want to see that all the people that have event coordinating skills, so you can easily pull out the list that will show you that, so that you can identify the right people. Okay, now it looks like we are a little bit tight for time, but I'll just want to cover a couple of these things before we move to the questions. One of the things that what Dynamics CRM is really well set up with is that the Dynamics CRM is integrated within Outlook. So everybody who knows how to work with Outlook can basically get up to speed with Dynamics CRM really well, really easy. In Outlook, you've got the folders on the left-hand side. Dynamics CRM will just appear as an additional folder in there. You can track your emails directly from Outlook into CRM, and it integrates with a lot of different systems as well, like events management systems like Eventbrite, with ERP and accounting systems like MYOB and Microsoft Dynamics ERP systems, with SharePoint and Office, so it's tightly integrated with Microsoft Office, and also with SharePoint for document management. Then another area that is really important for most not-for-profit organizations is email marketing services. So for email marketing services, people use different systems like MailChimp, ExactTarget, ClickDimensions. We use ClickDimensions, but these systems can be integrated within Dynamics CRM as well. And one of the reasons to use those systems is because if you send mass emails from your own system, you might get blacklisted by the internet service providers, and then when you send out your next email marketing list, then the emails won't get to the constituents. Okay, so then a couple of other cool features of Dynamics CRM. I won't go through it in respect of the time. So one of the organizations that I've worked with in the past is Kidney Health Australia. They had some challenges that they needed to overcome, like they want to integrate and streamline systems that better support their business objectives. At the same time, they needed to develop closer relationships and more targeted communications with their donor sponsors and other supporters. So what did they do? They actually implemented Dynamics CRM. They custom developed a lottery solution, because most of their, or 40% of their revenue or their income came out of the lottery, the 13 lotteries that they ran on an annual basis, and they integrated the system with their financial management system. So another part was that they are running a fairly large call center, and they want to integrate that call center with Dynamics CRM, so that they did it as well. So what were the benefits that they got out of it? So they had the ability to develop closer and stickier relationship with their supporters and sponsors. So they could keep hold of their relationships better. It provided them a reliable integration that ensured that they had accurate data or information. They eliminated the requirement for manual processes, and the cost of ownership of the system dramatically was reduced dramatically. Another key part was that it gave their senior management and the board a better idea of where they were at as an organization. So to to close off my presentation, I just want to quickly go through what Organon Consulting do. We help organizations with your journey to implement the CRM system. If you are interested, we offer a free 2-hour assessment, which basically covers what your requirements could be, how Dynamics CRM could cover that. So if you are interested, please go to our website, www.organonconsulting.com.au/NFP-offer. So then if you put your contact details in there, then we'll get back to you. Then I would like to open it up for questions. Christine, would you be able to
Yeah, we have quite a fair bit of questions actually. In the interest of time, I will also let you guys know that we are recording this webinar, so we will make the recording available afterwards so you can catch up if you do need to go. But we do have a few minutes. I'll try to make them quickly. First of all, there's a question on integration. You mentioned a few different programs that you can integrate with. Does it integrate with QuickBooks?
There is an QuickBooks integration. It's a third-party integration, so it doesn't come free with Dynamics CRM, but it is there's an integration available.
VetTrack integration.
Sorry?
VetTrack, VETTRAK, VetTrack.
I'm not aware of it, but I'm happy to look it up and do some research and get back to the person who asked that question.
And will it integrate with Microsoft Project? I think especially with the events part that you were talking about, Microsoft Project.
It does integrate to some extent. You can make it work, but it's not a fully fledged integration. So it doesn't integrate on let's say the Microsoft Project enterprise level, a server level.
What version of Microsoft Outlook does Dynamics CRM support for integration? And will it integrate with an Outlook distribution list?
Sorry, can you repeat the last part?
What version of Microsoft Outlook for integration, and then does it integrate with the Outlook distribution list?
Yeah, so basically it integrates with from Microsoft Outlook 2003 onwards, and yeah, the later version of Microsoft Outlook you have, the more functionality is available, because in previous versions there might not be as tight an integration as is available in Outlook 2010 at the moment.
Have you developed integration to MYOB?
Yeah, no, we haven't done that personally, but we use an integration that has been developed by another Microsoft partner.
I'll just go back to some of the earlier questions. What hooks does Microsoft CRM have into social networking sites to extract profile data?
So there's integration with let's say LinkedIn, with Twitter and Facebook. They are it's fairly easy to integrate them. There's not much work involved in it, and you basically can show Twitter feeds, LinkedIn profiles, Facebook status updates that are linked to a particular record.
Is there a multiple access level for different users, and if yes, is it customizable?
Would you be able to ask some clarification around it? Is that regarding the security permissions or anything else?
We'll get back to that. Another question is this solution only hosted online?
No, so basically there, like I mentioned, there are three different flavors. So one is CRM Online, one is the on-premise, where you buy the licenses for your server and your users, and you manage your service in your own office. Then there is CRM Online, which is hosted by Microsoft, and then there's private hosted, which is hosted by in a data center in Australia. But not by Microsoft, but by a data center in Australia.
System handle multi-currency, and how does it integrate with Macs, or is it just Microsoft platforms?
So it can handle multi-currency. So when you make a donation, you can actually you've got the option to choose a currency. So those things are handled. So you've got exchange rates in there as well. But it's not a fully fledged ERP system. So what we generally recommend is to move the transactions from CRM into the financial system, and then basically make the conversion there, so that you get a proper valuation of the donation.
About that multi-access level, I think what Nizar was meaning is about access level for functionalities like read-only, modification, or deletion of records. So can you have different access for different people?
Oh yes, definitely. So the security or the access level goes down to a field level. So if you want some people to be able to see certain fields but others not, or you might want to have some people the ability to actually see a field but not being able to edit them, then you definitely can set it up fairly easily.
There was a question before whether it's compatible or how it works on Mac, Apple system, or is it just on Microsoft Windows platforms?
Okay, so at the moment it only works on through Internet Explorer, but at the end of the year Microsoft will make it compatible across browsers. So then it doesn't really matter what browser you use. It won't be working necessarily with Outlook on a Mac on the OS X platform, but it will work through the browser version.
Question: can we provide subsets of data to different groups with different security access so they're only able to see certain sets of data?
Yes, you can do that as well. So you can set up different roles or different departments which only have access to different types of or different subsets of data. So that's definitely possible.
If we use Microsoft Link for VoIP telephone, will incoming calls automatically bring up constituent record?
If you use Link server internally, then so if you have a Link server in your office, then it will link in straight away. With Link Online, it doesn't as yet, but it's on the roadmap to integrate it as well.
What sort of payment gateway services are offered with Microsoft CRM Dynamics?
At the moment, in Australia, we all basically use different payment gateways, and it's more on case-to-case basis where we customize it on the spot. Where in the US they've got the Amazon payment services, and you can also use PayPal, for example.
Are there any limitations with Dynamics CRM Online? Does it still provide the same level of customization of the software?
It has all the same functionality. There are a couple of limitations on the number of customizations you can make, but they are very generous. So I would if you are a small or medium organization, I don't think that you would ever run into those limitations. But if you are a large, complex organization where you need to heavily customize the system, you might want to consider those limitations.
Can you import information from other programs, and can it mail merge? I think we did discuss this before as well.
Yes, you can. So it's fairly easy to import information from other systems. So you can import Excel files, CSV files, text files, those kind of things, and indicate and map them through a wizard to the right information in CRM.
In relation to contract management, is it possible to have important dates linked from CRM to Microsoft Outlook and have those dates appear as a reminder on Outlook?
Yes, because it's actually sitting in Outlook, you can indicate if you want to the reminders and tasks to show up in Outlook as well. So what most people do is they set up that link so that every time a task is created in CRM, it will appear in the Outlook as well, and the reminders will pop up as they have been set up in CRM. So if in CRM a reminder has been set up a day before, then that will show up as a task with a reminder a day before in Outlook as well.
Can you perform rostering on CRM, such as mapping a client to a service?
You can do some basic rostering in a sense. You can schedule resources and people, and so I hope that answers this question. If not, please let me know, and I'll maybe to clarify that a little bit further.
Does it have a way of managing sponsorship, such as child sponsorship?
It's fairly easy to. It's not out of the box, but it's fairly easy to set it up. That wouldn't be a big issue to set it up, but it's not out of the box. An out of the box solution.
Can you use the events function for training with calendars, trainer availability, and qualifications?
You probably would. I would say that you could, because all the different parts that you would require for that are available in the system. It's just a matter of linking them up to the right entities.
Can it integrate with non-Microsoft email programs?
It generally works best with Microsoft Outlook. With let's say Google Apps or other emailing programs, it doesn't really work as fluently. I know that you can make it work, but it's not really designed for it. So it probably is a little bit more challenging to get that to work well. So if I'm honest, I would say that if you are using another email system, then it might be from an integrated solution perspective, it might not be as feature-rich as if you will be using Outlook. And I'm not saying that you can't send emails through the system, but it's more of the benefits that Microsoft Outlook offers in combination with Dynamics CRM are so much greater than if you just use it through a web browser and link it to an email server.
Share calendars between this, Outlook, and other programs?
Between, sorry, what was the first one you said?
Can we share calendars between the CRM, Outlook, and other programs?
Yeah, so you can share calendars between between Outlook and and CRM. So basically, if you set up a meeting in CRM, that will be reflected in Outlook as well. Any other questions?
Yep. Would it serve multinational in different countries?
Yeah, so basically because you can set up different business units, it can work really well because you can use one solution base. So basically you can use one system that you're using, but use different data sets across the different business units. Or you can share the data. It depends a little bit on how you set it up, but the security is very comprehensive as well. So if you set it up right, then you can segregate that quite easily.
I was going to say before that we do have a lot more questions that we can't address all of them now. I'll give about 5 more minutes to answer questions, but I will compile all the remaining unanswered questions and I will send them on to Peter, and then he will type up all the answers and I will then email it all back to you, to all the attendees, so they get all the answers later on. But I'll just do a few more as we go. Can it record soft credits and also link to individuals, to organizations as an association?
So, so soft credits, would you be able to clarify that?
We'll probably get back to that. Can this integrate with our website so that, for example, an online donation is automatically uploaded to the CRM, eliminating the need for rekeying or batch processing?
Yeah. Yes, you can do that as well. So you can it integrates with different integration tools. You can easily integrate it with your website or other systems. So that's definitely possible. You can even set up you can set up a custom a partner portal or customer portal as well, which is part of Dynamics CRM as well.
Is it compatible with PHP List, which is also a mailing list program?
I would have to go back to that. So.
The soft credits question, Janine was saying that soft credits donation comes from a person, but it is via a network of another person in the system.
Oh, okay, yeah. So is that okay? I'm just
Answer that
trying
offline,
to
I
work
guess.
out how that. Yeah, I'll have to think about it, how that could work.
Yeah. Where can you find the integration tools?
So the integration tools, so the ones that I've mentioned are generally third-party integration tools. The one with Dynamics ERP is one that Microsoft offers. The other ones are generally third-party tools that are sold by particular partners to other partners. So yeah, you can just do a Google search and you will find most of those integration pieces.
Can Dynamics be made into a PCI compliant solution?
Yes, yeah. So with a client I worked with in the past, they had done that because that was a requirement for their organization, so that is definitely possible.
address one last question about integrations, about data. How is data downloaded and backed up?
So there are, it depends on which version you are using. So if you are using either the partner host or the on-premise solution, you basically back it up through SQL Server. So if it's on-premise in your office, then you basically have a backup, a SQL backup. If it's partner hosted, then the hosting partner can do that for you. With Microsoft CRM Online, Dynamics CRM Online, it's a little bit different because you have to ask Microsoft to send you a backup, and they're happy to send you a backup, but you actually have to request it when you want it. So it's not an automated process. But obviously they back all their systems up all the time, so it would be you would be hard pressed to think that you would lose your data. But it's more, I assume, from a security perspective that you want to be secure enough that you've got a backup of the data when you need it.
I think I will stop the questions there. I did, as I mentioned before, there are heaps more. I promise you we will address them at a later date. We'll probably try to get them by the end of this week or early next week. But other than that, some of you do have questions on the product itself, on the pricing. As I mentioned earlier, that Connecting Up does offer the Microsoft Dynamics CRM through DonorTech and TechSoup New Zealand to eligible organizations. So when I send you follow-up emails, I will send you more information on that so you can have a look at what you need. And then if you do have further questions about, again, the licenses and the pricing and what we can give you, please just email me back and I will get that sorted. Other than that, thank you so much for all your questions. I will send through follow-up emails. I will send through the link to the recording if you would like to catch up on it a bit later on. And we do have a few more CRM webinars coming up in the next few weeks. I think next Thursday we have a webinar on why most CRM implementations fail. So it will look at the different factors that cause failures, both on this, in terms of implementation and also system selection, and that's next Thursday. It's also a free webinar, so feel free to register if you haven't. Otherwise, just go to our events page to check out on our upcoming events. Well, outside of that, thank you very much, Peter. Thank you for everyone for joining, and we hope to see you again in the future webinars.
Yeah. Thank you very much for all your time today.